I was basically working on the food safety and food security plans, food security management systems within my district in the country, and I've been interested to know more on this area. And one thing that has always been mentioned me, or has always been binding me all these years, is the amount of food being wasted, the amount of food being the vast difference between consumable food versus non-consumable food, and that has provided what we have in the world, in the scenario where we are struggling with a lot with the malnutrition, dietary deficiencies, and to think of that on a different sector, that there is food actually being wasted, and that is which with which we can actually feed a lot of hungry people in the world is an important question to me. And on that line, I worked with a couple of agencies here. I worked with a couple of uh, the non-government organizations, as we call NGOs in India. Uh, I've tied up with a couple of local district and rural agri-based organizations, committees. Okay, so my duty is to travel across the rural parts and educate them the importance of food waste, what is the peril, what is the good advantage, what is the disadvantage we get when you actually waste your food and it is not even going anywhere. Yeah, one solution is when the crop is damaged, you can use it as a fertilizer. That is one research question that has been a big debate across many scientists and professors all over the world. But comes to your plate, what comes to your dinner table or lunch table should not go into the garbage bin. That has been my research question. It has been a big research question of high importance. And as you can see, I've prepared a questionnaire on the right hand side of my screen. You can see a very big questionnaire. Uh, I prepared around 40, 50 questions in detail. These are some of the 10 important questions I think I can ask anyone at any organization. And also one of the aim of this research has been focused on industrial organizations like beverages and food industry, where even though they produce food and they sell food, but there is wastage in the organization. Like there is, for example, you take a liquid industry like a soft drink like a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi, this soft drink or cold drink depending on the country, it is a lot of water is involved. And on the other hand, if you take up ready to eat food particles like your pasta, etc., where the food goes into a package and then it comes to our home and we cook and we eat, but actually there is a lot of food being wasted within the organization, within the company premises. And that has been and that is one area where I actually concerned. I went there, I went to a couple of food companies. We took up the training classes, we conducted a survey, and then we produced our results. We spoke to the management of the organization, we gave a couple of lectures and told every worker in the company that what is happening, what is the necessity to reduce waste. Because as a research scholar myself, as an upcoming scientist myself, I believe in sustainable living, sustainable management. So these are very few areas I really want every one of us to consider. It's not only in India, not only in Australia, Argentina, Spain, Portugal, everywhere in the country, everywhere in the world, we should be focusing on utilizing limited resources to the most benefit advantages. In a way, it is like simple living, high thinking, simple living philosophy, where you use little resources, but you produce a lot of work. And I relate this example to our astronauts in the space station, International Space Station up there. They have very limited resources, but they know how to use the resource. There is no resources going into waste. That has been a big question. I will keep continuing. I'll continue myself researching on this area because there is a lot to explore. Until 4 years of my research currently, I've gained a lot of knowledge through my research, through my experience, through my association with organizations, state, rural, and international. So there has been a big question, and what my main thing here is I want everyone to understand the importance of going waste. So I hope as long as my target is to achieve the 80% unwaste product, because you cannot, for example, if you take a food product, you cannot eat the peel of the food. So there is certain part of the food that will go waste anyway. You cannot eat the raw peel of the banana or say uh, some potato gourd, etc. Some vegetables you cannot eat. You have to peel the vegetable and then cook. But that is permittable waste. but there is something called non-permittable waste, where you cannot waste this part of the food product. I hope I'm not going too fast into that, but my target and my conclusion are I would love to end my research on creating an awareness in the public, creating awareness on the social and environmental effects, how to control the food waste disposal. And another area I worked on in this research is what you once identify food waste, how am I disposing it? How am I eliminating it from the non-waste product? That is, there are a couple of mechanisms coming up. There are a couple of it all depends on how individually how good we are, or how much do we understand the importance of food, importance of being hungry. So when we realize that we don't want to go to bed on a hungry stomach, we will never make any food product based on it in a table or lunch table or a breakfast table. That is one thing I would like to give it a, and also furthermore to address the global food safety issues, food waste control management practices. We are still finding effective and impact effective practices to reduce the food waste. You cannot see starting from now we cannot even reduce it to 20%, 30%, for example. But still we can reduce to some extent. So some is always better than nothing. In that case, uh, I hope really, and I would love to give it a small challenge to everyone, to every research scholar, especially in our laboratories. Not only food, not only liquid, not only water, not only air. There should be very limited item or very limited material that should go into waste, because waste is anyway is useless. So that will be my target for the next 2 years of my research.